1580thepraise.com, a Gold Chip communication station. And this is Kay Willis with the Kay Willis Positive Vibes Talk Show. And I have my special guest in. And my special guest is Tawana T.
Hello.
Styles.
Yes. Hello.
Yes, how are you doing?
I'm excellent. How are you?
Great. So, T. Styles, you wear so many hats. I mean, let's start. You're in the beauty industry. How did you get in the beauty industry?
I am. So I've been doing hair since I was a kid, cutting my brother's haircut, his first haircut, tearing his hair up, tearing up family members. However, I went to school 13 years ago, and I've been in it ever since. Professionally, I should say. Yes.
Okay. So what made you, I guess, just want to do that?
Well, I didn't know that I wanted to be a hairstylist initially. I was actually going to school to be an architect. And my grandmother suggested that I go to hair school because I was struggling. So I dropped out of college because I couldn't afford it. And I was 32 years old at the time. Mm-hmm. So I had done all kinds of things, and I'm good at everything. So I really didn't know what I should be doing. And so I was struggling at a time, and it was like, I don't know what I should be doing, but I know I can't afford to continue school. What should I do? Now, I was bartending on the side. Mm-hmm. So I love making straight cash. I love meeting new people and making people smile. So I talked to my grandmother about it, and she was like, Tawana, you should do hair. And I was like, hair? Why would I do hair? That's like my hobby. And now I see how silly I sound saying, why would I do my hobby, right? So she suggested it, and I was like, she was like, well, you do my hair better than anybody, Tawana. You should just do it. So I went and I applied. I tried 2 different hair schools. They turned me down. And I remember sitting on the curb crying, and I called her and I was like, I can't get in. And she said, try another one. Mm-hmm. So that third one was a charm, and I tried and I went. And when I tell you, Kay, it changed my life. From the moment I walked into that building, it was like I knew I was supposed to. It was like everything, like, I don't know. I skipped every day in there and out of there, 11 months. Mm-hmm. Straight A's, but the unfortunate part, my grandmother who told me to go, she raised me. She passed 2 weeks before I started.
Oh, wow.
So I didn't know how I was going to make it through because, like, I love my grandmother. She was like my best friend. Mm-hmm. And I knew God was with me, and I knew this was for me because in the moments where I would want to break down and I would have to leave class to cry, I would go into the bathroom and they had music playing in the ceiling. And every single time I went to that bathroom to cry, a song would come on, like my grandmother sing it to me. Wow. Like, you can do it, try again, or something like that. And I would look around, I would be like, what? But it was like my motivation, and it kept me going. And so I knew from the moment I stepped in there that it was my gift, it was my passion, and that I would take this thing to the next level. So that's what I've been doing.
So you mentioned that you wanted to be an architect. So
yes.
You're really good with your hands. I mean, hair, you gotta be good with your hands. Architect as well. Uh-huh. And very creative, because that's creativity as well. And you said your hobby, you didn't want your hobby to be your job. But look at that. Right. Look how your hobby became your career.
My life.
Yes. And just somebody speaking into you.
Yes.
You know, so what can you say to someone out there? Because I love that you said you was 32.
Yes.
So a lot of people, so that's the non-traditional, not straight out of high school. So what can you tell someone out there that is, you know, they wanted to go to school and they didn't go traditionally? Basically, it's not too late. How can you encourage someone out there?
The first thing I would say is try.
Yeah.
Just try. Because sometimes we think, I'm too old to do that. Or I don't think I can. It's too late. It's never too late. I mean, if you just try. First thing I would do, honestly, is pray about it. Yes. I pray about everything. I can't do anything without God. I do nothing without God. And so I would say pray about it. Ask God to show you your gift, what you should do. Mm-hmm. And then just put one foot out there. Never, ever, 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 ever give up, because you just don't know. Like, I tore up so many heads before I actually became a hairstylist. I didn't know, though, that this is what I'll be doing, right? I was doing my grandmother's hair. I was doing my mother's hair. I was doing my brother's hair, tearing it up, cutting my cousin's hair. I was just doing hair. I like to do it, but I never put hair and money in the same place. Mm-hmm. You know, it's just like, I just like to do hair. I never thought that I could get paid to do hair because I didn't think about it. My mind was on a higher level. Like, look, I'm going to be an architect. And so basically that was what, you know, I really wanted to do. So I was like, hair, to me, you know how people put certain careers on certain
different levels. Yes.
Hair in my world was, that's just hair, right? Mm-hmm. Being an architect was like, you're an architect. You're going to design these big buildings. You're going to create these blueprints. Don't let a person put your passion on a level.
That's right.
If it's something that you love to do, do it. And God will make room for you to make money to do that thing. Yes. So don't even think about the money. Just do what you love and the money will come. But I should say, don't give up. First of all, do not give up and don't ever think it's too late. It's never too late. As long as you have breath in your body, you can do it.
I know that's right. Come on,
yes.
T-Styles. Okay. So your grandmother, as you mentioned, she passed away 2 weeks before graduation?
2 weeks before I started.
Before you started?
Yes.
My apologies, before you started.
Yes.
So, in her memory, and she, encouraged you to go with your passion, your hobby. What would you like to say to her?
Thank you.
That's good. Yes.
Thank you, first of all, for being my cheerleader, for never giving up on my two brothers and I, for instilling all of the things that she instilled in me. First of all, respect for elders, and just treating people the way you want to be treated. And just giving me that little, just telling me to go for it. Like, just do that. To want like I said, that was the furthest thing from my mind. And just for giving me that little jewel. I thank her for everything. I thank her for who I am. Mm-hmm. Because without her, I don't know where I would be. You know, from our struggles to the triumphs. And my whole thing, I just kept saying, I'm going to take care of you. I want to take care of you one day. Mm-hmm. You know, because I used to rap and I used to write about it. And I always included her in my songs because I really wanted to take care of her one day, and did not know that just in that moment that she would set me up for the rest of my life to take care of me and my family. So I just want to say thank you for everything, and introducing me to God.
Come on now.
Introducing me to God. So thank you.
Yes. Thank you, What did you call her? Granny?
Mabel. No, she did not want us to call her by her granny anything because she looked so young. Mm-hmm. And she was like, call me Mabel. Her name was Mabel. Yeah. I just had a dream about her 2 days ago.
Wow.
Too. That's so crazy.
And look at her. So
yes.
She's here.
Yes.
Thank you, Mabel.
Yes.
Yes. So you opened up your salon. How many months have you been open?
Yes. So I just opened my salon in April.
Yes.
So it's fairly new, and it's been a dream of mine ever since I can remember to have a salon. Mm-hmm. And I mean, I didn't know when I would get here, but I'm here. And I do have my first salon, and I'm so happy. So yeah, April.
Your first one won't be, you mentioned first, so it won't be the last. We're going to open up a franchise.
Yes.
We're going to have a franchise.
All over the world.
Come on now, all over the world.
State of the art.
We speaking it, so y'all heard it here first.
Yes.
On the K Willis Positive Vibe Talk Show. We're going to speak that into existence. So you have your salon. Can you, was it like an easy road, or how was that?
Yes. It was easy.
Praise the Lord.
I have to be honest, because the 13 years that it took for me to get where I am, mm-hmm. it has not been tough, because I went from salon, I don't know how many salons, because I actually haven't kept track, but I was told in hair school, don't settle.
Okay.
So you go into a salon, if you don't like it, if it's not a good fit, go to another one. So I've gone to a few, and in each one I took something from them. Mm-hmm. What I don't want to do, what I would not do to someone else. I've been in a place with some mean people, unfortunately. But to get this salon, no. You know what it took? Me listening to God's voice saying, call the number.
Come on now.
And I called the number for lease on the building. And just like that, it just worked out. I didn't have to do anything but make a phone call.
Okay, phone call. So you just rolled past the building, and then the number was there. You said call. So,
but there's a backstory.
What's the backstory?
I was there 4 years prior. So my children and I, we moved back I'm from Toledo, Ohio, and we moved back to Columbus 4 years ago. And 3 days after we moved here, I hadn't even had a place. I didn't have a place yet. 3 days after we got here, a lady owned a salon, the salon that I now own. She owned this salon, and some friends told me about it. She's a Somalian lady. She knows nothing about hair whatsoever, but she has this beautiful salon, and she needs someone to help her run it. So I called her. I went and met her. We shook hands. We had a contract to be partners for 6 months. I got in the salon. I loved it so much. I mean, I brought God in that salon. Like, and he told me it would be mine. I thought it was going to be mine. 6 months later, she sold it.
Wow.
And I was like, what? So another lady came in. She was mean. So I left. I was home for about 6 months going to people. And some people would come to my house, but that was hard. And my savings started depleting. So I found a barber shop down the street. And I had a little loft in the back room. And I had a 2-year contract. The day that a 2-year lease.
Okay.
The day that my lease was up, I heard God's voice. Because now, mind you, I live around the corner from that place. So I used to ride past there and I seen it go through a couple hands. And I just used to think, man, that was supposed to be my place. So this particular time, it had been open for 2 months. And just this particular day, God told me to call.
Wow.
And I called and I said, if this is for me, this man is going to answer this phone. The man did not answer the phone.
Oh my goodness.
So I said, I'm not leaving a message. And that evening, my little cousin who I trained to do hair, she's now 20. She called me and she's in Toledo. She said, Auntie, TT, I've been doing hair. I'm ready to go in business with you. I want to get a salon. She said, I'll go half on everything. Just find it. I said, wow, that's funny because earlier today I called. I have a place. I'm going to call them in the morning. I'm going to leave a message. So I did. Needless to say, everything went through. I called her. I said, hey, I got it. What's up? She said, oh, man, TT, I just bought a car. Why didn't you tell me? I was like, wait, what? But the way that God works, I only had enough money for the deposit.
Come on now.
Right? However, I really didn't have it. I had the deposit money, but I only had half to give this man, like to be comfortable.
Right.
Because I had something to do with that other half. But the way that God worked, first of all, he told me to call. Then she called. She pushed me to call back. When I went in and I knew what I didn't have, I said, I'm just going to be honest with the man. He said, I'll take that half and here's your key. And I'm going to give you 2 months free.
Yes.
So instead of walking away from the guy that I was renting from, because like I said, my lease was up that day. I told him, I'm going to give you 30 days so that you can figure something out. I'm just not going to leave you. So within that 30 days, I was going down there and I was cleaning because I didn't want to pay 2 people. Right. So I'm cleaning my new salon, fixing it up, painting and all that, paying him. And by April 1st, I opened business.
It's yours. You in business.
Passed the inspection. So it was easy.
Come on now.
God did.
God did.
Yes.
So I love that you ended that off with God did because you listened to God. So there's some people out there who saying, I don't know how God sounds. Because it's not going to always be some people think God is going to be like, Tawana, call now. It's not going to be like that. So how can you tell someone out there who says, I don't know how to hear and listen from God?
Well, it's a feeling.
Come on now.
And it's almost like when you're driving a car And it's kind of an automatic thing. You know, like something tells you to turn right when you were about to turn left, but something just said turn right. It's kind of like that type of thing. Like, you know, if you're doing something and you said something told me to do that. And if you did it, it was the right thing to do. Right. If you didn't do it, something else happened. And you were like, I knew I should have done that. It's an intuition. Yes. So it's like, if you allow yourself to get close enough to God, you'll hear it because you'll feel it stronger. Yes. It's really if you just go with the flow. So God's voice is kind of like going with the flow. Not to get off topic, but to let them know about how you can hear God's voice. Like, God's voice has saved me from a lot. Stopped me from drinking and smoking. Because God told me he was about to call me home. The way that I knew it was God's voice, because it was so loud and clear, I couldn't deny it. It wasn't a Tawana in my ear, but it was in my head. And he said it, and I heard it, and I felt it. So when you want to hear God's voice, you'll feel it. You might even get chills. So it's a feeling, and it's an intuition. Just be still and be quiet, and you'll always hear God's voice. Yeah. So just follow your gut. And that's God's voice. God's voice is your intuition. Your inner being is your inner God, is how I would look at it. I don't know how else to explain it.
That's good. I love also how you said it's like driving a car, you know, because that's true. Sometimes you can be like, oh, I got to turn left. And then some said turn right. And then later on you look down and it's an accident.
Yes.
You know, and it's like, dang, God just saved me from that. Yes. Or like you're about to go into the store and you come out and maybe they just got robbed. You know, it's like, dang, God just saved me from that. I love how you also said God told you that he was going to take your life.
He said, you're about to come home.
You're about to come home.
He didn't say you're going to die. He said, I'm about to bring you home tonight. Because when you're drinking and smoking, you're not walking in your purpose. And I knew that to be true, because I would feel like a hypocrite, because I do motivational speaking and I wouldn't do it when I was drinking or smoking. So he said, because you're not walking in your purpose, there's no need for you to be here. You're about to come home tonight. And he showed it to me through a cartoon at the same time that he was telling me. And it was so crazy, because I just begged for another chance. I begged and I pleaded and I asked God for another chance. Please, 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 please. And my chest started hurting on the left side from the front to the back. I don't know what was about to happen, but I just know I went and got the paraphernalia and I threw it in the trash. And I came back to the living room and I asked God, please, please, please. And God, the TV showed me that I was going to get another chance, because the cartoon that was laying in the bed, quote unquote, sleep. They couldn't say dead. The Donald Duck was laying in the bed, and Mickey Mouse and all of them were around him. He was asleep, old. He turned into an old man. As he was telling me, you're coming home tonight, he was showing me through the TV. And when I came back upstairs after I got rid of that paraphernalia and I begged God for another chance, they were like, because at first they were like, oh no, there's nothing he can do to wake up. And so I'm like, God, please, please, please. I did what I had to do. I came back upstairs, and when I sat down, they were like, yay, he did it. Now he can wake up. And he didn't wake up. And they were like, oh no, he still didn't wake up. So I'm like, God, please, please, please. And next thing I know, Daffy Duck took a deep breath and sat up in the bed. And they started cheering. And that's when I knew God was going to give me another chance, and I was not going to disappoint. In December will be 2 years.
Thank you, Father.
And I promise God that I will walk in my purpose, and I do it every day on purpose, because I know why I was called. It would be different if I didn't know why I was called, when I didn't know, when I was blind. But he revealed it to me 4 years ago, so I know my purpose. And then I still chose to keep disobeying God. Now, he gave me seizures to try to stop me, right? That didn't work. I kept going, right? And that day, in that moment, when he sat me in that chair, Kay, I've never experienced anything like it. Wow. I don't fear anything or anyone but God.
Yes.
And when he said, you're coming home tonight, I'm about to bring you home. because you're not walking in your purpose when you're drinking and smoking. And I gave it up because I want to live. And now here I am. I didn't know that I would be on a gospel station. Do you know that I live, breathe, sleep, eat God all day, every day?
Come on now.
So I feel blessed to be sitting here. It's like, because listen, I've been through it. And for God to change my life, he could change anybody's life. If God can give me what he's given me, he can do it for anyone. From the time that I stopped, the first thing that he did, he brought my son back into my life after 24 years. Someone shook my son. I was in prison for 4 years. I had a child in prison. Someone shook him when he went home.
Wow.
After I stopped and God gave me another chance, I've been praying. We couldn't find my son. I stopped in December. September, I got my son back. He found me. He blessed me with a new vehicle. He blessed me with a salon. Listen, school started first, the Ohio Media School.
Yes.
So it was one thing after another. After Ohio Media School, then it was my son. Then it was the car. Then listen, I'm walking in my purpose. If God can do it for me, God can do it for anybody. But you have to be open and ready to accept and listen.
Yes. God is not a respecter of person. Like you said, if he did it for you, he could do it for everyone. So everyone out there, if y'all heard that, what the key thing I think I heard you said was obedience.
Yes.
Once you was obedient,
yes,
then everything just started flowing.
Yes.
So thank you, Father, for that. Now, you mentioned you stopped, like, boom, right on there. Boom. How can you tell someone, because someone out there that said, man, that sound good. She sounds sweet. But how can I stop just on the spot?
You have to want to.
Come on now.
You have to want to live. You have to want to live, because with all of that comes other turmoil. Matter of fact, you need to get into the root of the problem.
That part.
You got to go back and get to the root of the problem. One of the ways that I went back and got to the root of a problem, and this may work for some people, it may not, I don't know, but I went back to childhood and I started writing apology letters. Forgiveness letters was what I call them. So I went from the first person that ever hurt me in my life, and I wrote a letter to them and explaining to them every detail of how I felt when they hurt me, whichever way they hurt me. And I told them, so just say such and such. You hurt me when you blah, 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 and blah, blah, blah. Now keep in mind, you're going to go back and it's going to bring up some old feelings that you might not like. You go, you deal with those, you write that letter to them and you let them know how they made you feel. And then you say, but I forgive you and I forgive myself. And then you tear that thing up and throw it in the trash. You got to start getting that off of your mind, because there's a reason that you're drinking and smoking. It's something underneath that. It's not because you just want to. You're covering up something. You got to get to the root of the problem. That's the first step.
I love that. So get to the root of the problem. And then also,
ask God to help you.
Yes, ask God to help you. And it's a healing process when you wrote those letters, because some people feel like, well, you know, John Doe did this to me and I can never forgive him. Like you said, write it down and tear it up.
You have to forgive.
That's healing and peace.
Yes.
They also have a lot of burning ceremonies.
Oh, you can do, so you can tear it up or burn it.
And burn
I have a problem with fire. From our house getting burned up as a child. So when I smell it, it just brings something up in me. So you can tear it up or burn it. I tore mine.
I'm the same way too with fire. I don't even like lighting candles for the birthday cake. But yes. Yeah, so I understand that. So, I mean, that's very healing. And then, did God tell you to do that, to write the letter?
No, I actually took a seminar.
Okay.
From a guy named Bob Proctor. Paid a lot of money to do it, but it was worth it, because that's how I discovered my purpose and who I am. So I went through a seminar.
I like Bob Proctor. Didn't he just pass away?
Yes. Unfortunately, rest in peace, Bob.
I like him.
Yeah.
He was very good, and he was in Secret.
Yes.
Yes.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
I like him.
I took the Science of Getting Rich program, and it just helped me. And I met some really cool people, and we were in a mastermind group. And so that was the start of my journey of healing and discovering my purpose, because I really wanted to know who I was. I was just like tired. I was tired 4 years ago, and now I'm healed completely.
Thank you, Father.
Yes.
Healing. There is healing. Yes.
In the journey.
Yes, there is healing. So we want to thank Tawana T. Styles for coming in, and we are going to have her in for part 2. I know you guys loved all the jewels that Tawana was dropping, but tune in to our next episode. And 1580thepraise.com, a gold chip communication station.